Hi everyone, this is Alan Wells, and I will be showing you how to approve the permissions for the Google Forms add-on Data Director. To install Data Director from the G Suite Marketplace, click either Domain Install or Individual Install. Get ready to install. Data Director needs your permission in order to start installing. Continue. This is the client ID. Choose an account. Data Director wants to access your Google account. This is the sign-in OAuth consent screen. Data Director asks you for the following permission: view and manage Google Drive files and folders that you have opened or created with this app. If you need more information, click the information icon. These are all the permissions that Data Director is asking you for. Let's start at the top. Data Director needs to be able to create PDF files and text files, and it will also create an add-on folder with the name of the add-on. Data Director cannot access all your files. It can only access files that you have opened or created with this app. In other words, Data Director can only access files that the Data Director add-on created or that you picked with the Google folder or file picker. It cannot delete any of your files. It cannot see or do anything with files or folders that you have not opened. In other words, that you have not chosen with the file picker. The next permission: see, edit, create, and delete your spreadsheets in Google Drive. Data Director is capable of creating a spreadsheet depending upon certain conditions. When a form is submitted, Data Director can automatically create a new spreadsheet and save the answers from the form into the spreadsheet. So it needs to be able to create a spreadsheet because of that feature. It doesn't delete any spreadsheets, but in order to be able to create a spreadsheet, you have to authorize the permission to delete it. But Data Director will never delete your spreadsheets. The next permission is view and edit events on your calendars. A feature of Data Director is that it can create a calendar event when a form is submitted. So it needs to be able to create a calendar event. And in order to do that, it needs the permission to view and edit events. Data Director cannot delete a calendar. It's not possible for the add-on to delete a calendar. It can also view your calendars. All that means is Data Director can get the names and IDs of your calendars. It needs that in order to be able to put that information in drop-down boxes in the user interface. You can choose which calendar you want an event created on. The next permission is send email on your behalf. Data Director has the capability to send an email when a Google form is submitted. All it can do is send an email. It cannot delete your emails. All it can do is send an email. And of course, if it's sending an email from your account, it's sending it on your behalf. There's no way around that. The next permission is view and manage forms that this application has been installed in. Forms means Google Forms. So the Data Director add-on is installed in your Google form. In order for Data Director to get the answers out of the form, it needs to be able to access that data in your form. And in order to do that, it needs this permission. It cannot access forms that it has not been installed in. So the permission is restricted to forms that the application, in other words the add-on, forms that the add-on has been installed in. The next permission is connect to an external service. The external service that Data Director connects to is a web app in my account. It does that if there is an error. It can send out error information, but you can opt out of that. So if you do not want error information sent out, there's a checkbox that you can check to prevent the add-on from making an external request. The next permission is allow this application to run when you are not present. What that means is when a form is submitted, the add-on runs. You may not be present. When somebody fills out your form and submits it, you're not present. You may not have the form open. What causes the add-on to run when a form is submitted is a trigger. The code is triggered, and when that code is triggered, the application runs. And obviously, you're not present when somebody submits your Google form. That's what this means. This permission is for the on-form submit trigger. The next permission is display and run third-party web content in prompts and sidebars inside Google applications. All that means is you're allowing the user interface. The user interface is the sidebar, dialog boxes where you make settings. So in order for you to make settings and save settings for the add-on, you need to see a dialog box, and this permission is for that. If you want to allow Data Director to be given these permissions, if you want to authorize these permissions, you can click Allow. If you don't want to, you can click Cancel. I'm going to click Allow. You have just authorized Data Director. Thank you for watching. This video covers the following topics. How does Data Director access data? How to create and automate workflows. Which direction user data flows in. How Data Director uses sensitive scopes. Data Director does not use any restricted scopes. How does Data Director access data? Which APIs and services does the add-on use, and how are they implemented? Data Director accesses user data using two Google APIs and built-in AppScript services. The Google APIs and AppScript services are run by using the programming language named AppScript. Data Director uses two Google APIs: Google Drive API for saved settings, text files, create and read text files, response IDs for determining whether a form submission is an edit or not, PDF templates, email body templates. Google Calendar API creates and edits calendar events. Data Director uses the following built-in AppScript services: Gmail app to send emails, Spreadsheet app to set values in Google Sheets, Script app to create the on-form submit trigger that runs when the Google form is submitted, HTML service to create a sidebar and dialog boxes for the user interface, URL fetch app to make external requests for error logging, error messages, and the welcome email, Form app to access the data in the Google form and get form questions and question IDs, Properties service to store and retrieve user settings. The Google APIs are used through the AppScript Advanced Drive service and Calendar service, and therefore don't require user input to handle the OAuth flow. The only setup required by the user to implement the APIs is to accept the permissions in the OAuth authorization dialog box. The built-in AppScript services also do not require anything from the user except authorization acceptance. The Data Director add-on is for task automation. How to create and automate workflows. The way that you use Data Director is by turning the add-on on, which creates a trigger, turning on individual features, entering and saving settings, allowing people to fill out and submit your Google form. After you have turned the add-on on, turned on features, and saved your settings, the add-on runs when the Google form is submitted. Later in the video, I will be showing how to save settings. Then I will submit a form and we will see the results. The results will be a PDF file being created and saved to a specific folder, an email sent with a PDF file attached, a calendar event creation with a PDF attached, answers saved to a spreadsheet. Now I will discuss which direction user data flows in. The data that Data Director processes originates in your Google form and flows to any or all of the following: your calendars, your spreadsheets, PDF files, and data can be merged into an email and sent to the email recipient of your choice. The direction that the add-on causes your data to flow in is from your Google form in your account to other files in your account, except in the case of emails being sent to the email recipients of your choice. Data Director does not use any restricted scopes. How Data Director uses sensitive scopes. The scope: view and manage Google Drive files and folders that you have opened or created with this app. Files and folders that you have chosen or the add-on has created. Saves PDF files to folders that you have chosen. Saves PDF and email templates to the add-on folder. Saves your settings to a text file. The scope: named See, Edit, Create, and Delete Your Spreadsheets in Google Drive. Data Director can create a new spreadsheet when a form is submitted. It will never delete your spreadsheets. Saves form answers to Google Sheets. View and edit events on all your calendars. Creates calendar events. Attaches PDF files to calendar events. Adds guests to calendar events. And sends invitations to guests. View your calendars. To get the names and IDs of your calendars for drop-down lists in the settings. Send email on your behalf. To send emails. View and manage forms that this application has been installed in. Get answers from the form that the add-on is installed in. Connect to an external service. Make HTTPS post request to AJ Add-ons account to send a welcome email. Also, send error messages to AJ Add-ons account. Allow this application to run when you are not present. Creates an on-form submit trigger. Display and run third-party web content in prompts and sidebars inside Google applications. This is for the user interface. Allows the user to enter and save settings. These uses will be demonstrated when I show how to make the settings and what happens when the form is submitted. I'll be showing the features of Data Director. Currently, Data Director is on. I'm going to turn it off. This add-on is now off. What that did is it deleted the on form submit trigger. The very first thing that you need to do is turn the add-on on. That is done here in the sidebar. Click this button to green. The add-on is now on. What that did was create an on form submit trigger. I'm going to go through the process of setting up Data Director and showing what it can do. The data splitter is for setting values in a spreadsheet. Let's set up the data splitter. The data splitter sets values in your spreadsheet. Turn the feature on. You can either choose a spreadsheet from Drive or create a new spreadsheet. Let's click this button. Open File Picker. I don't have any spreadsheets set up in the Drive for this account, so there are no spreadsheets. You would see spreadsheets here. So let's click Create New Spreadsheet. Save created spreadsheet to folder, so you have a choice. If the folder that you want isn't there, obviously you'll need to cancel and go create a new folder. I'm going to cancel this. I want a different folder. Okay, I've created a new folder, so let's see what happens. Okay, spreadsheets. Let's put it in the spreadsheets folder. So you can see the folder ID was put in here. Okay, so it's asking me enter a new spreadsheet file name. Okay, let's just call it test spreadsheet AAA sheet tab. You can enter the name of a sheet tab that you want created. Special tab 1. So now we have set the target spreadsheet. Now we need to determine what content is going to be saved into the spreadsheet. You can save all the answers from the form or make custom choices. Let's make some custom choices. Let's see what we've got here. Timestamp. I'm going to put a timestamp in, and then the first name and the last name. And I can uncheck this. Let's put an edit URL in, and do not add title. The settings have been made, so I'm going to click Save. It's saving the settings. I'll get a message, settings saved. That's been done. Close this. Let's set up the email sending feature. Turn it on. You can see that it has a merge field for the user collected email. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to put in my email. Could enter CC and BCC. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to send an email to this email address. Right now it's got a conditional test in here. If the first name contains Alan, send it to AJ Add-ons. I'm going to delete that just to keep things simple. This is the reply to, no reply, and associated name settings. Let's just make this test. That's going to be the name associated with the email. Just to show you what it will do. Email content, if I just type into the body here, it's just plain text, but there's a rich text editor. You can add titles, you can add HTML, paragraphs, pre-formatted HTML tag. You can choose a font size. The body background, you can set the background color, remove background color. You can choose the font of the entire body. Type something in here just for display purposes. Okay. Underline. Try this again. Let's center this. Text color. Hit enter. That's the text color. Let's choose a background color. Yellow. Hit enter. Red text highlighted yellow. And you can see the HTML was put here. There are some formatting options. I don't have a checkbox or multiple choice or grid answers. I'm going to uncheck this. But what I want to do is attach a PDF file. So this is a static setting. It will always attach a PDF file. There are conditional settings. You can attach the PDF or not, depending on conditions. But I want to delete that for now. And save this. What I want to do is just illustrate the email sending feature and that you can attach a PDF file. That's basically what I'm showing here. Close this. When the form is submitted, answers are going to be set in a spreadsheet from the data splitter. An email will be sent with a PDF file attached to it. Of course, the PDF file needs to be created, so we'll need to do that in the PDF definition. But let's do the calendar settings. And I'm going to attach a PDF file to the calendar settings. This is already on. When I click this drop down, it shows all my calendars. So all the calendars in this account are listed here. All it's got is the default calendar. So I'm going to choose that. So when the form is submitted, a calendar event will always be created in this calendar as long as there's a date. There's got to be a date coming from the form. That's the target. Now I could do a conditional target, but for purposes of illustration I'm not going to do that. I'm just showing the capability related to the permissions that you approve. So there needs to be a start date. It's coming from the start date question. That's all it needs to create a calendar event. And we can add a guest. There's a question for guest email. I'm going to leave that. The event description. That's for the contents of the event. This only has a start date, so it's always going to be an all-day event. So let's check this. I'm going to send an invite to the guest. Okay, the PDF attachment. Let's make it conditional. If the first name contains Alan, attach PDF 1. That will be attached to the calendar event. Now, you can also send an email and also set up an email to be sent from the calendar settings. So you can set up an email to be sent through the email settings, and you can set up an email to be sent through the email settings here. I'm not going to do that. Let's click Save. We've set up the data splitter, an email to be sent, a calendar event to be created. We've set up the email to have a PDF attached to it and the calendar event to have a PDF attached to it also, but we need to make sure the PDF is going to be created. So it needs to be set up through the PDF definition. It is on. This is already set up, but for sake of illustration purposes, let's click the folder picker. Put it in PDFs created by Data Director. Select. OK. Now, PDF body content. This is the body of the PDF file. You'll see that this checkbox is checked. So the PDF template is going to be saved to a text file. This is useful if you have a PDF file with a lot of content in it. It should be saved to a text file rather than your regular setting. This is obviously very little content, but for sake of illustration purposes, I'm going to save this to a PDF. Save the PDF template to a text file. Okay. You can determine what the PDF file should be named. PDF file can be named something different every single time. I can name it by last name and let's see, text. Let's just call it TCC and an incremented number. Okay. The PDF file is going to be named for the last name answer in the form, some static text that will always be this, and an incremented number. That's how the PDF file will be saved. Overwrite existing PDF. If there is an existing PDF file, because the form submission is an edit, instead of creating a new PDF file, the add-on can overwrite the existing PDF file. I'm going to check that. So let's save these settings. All the settings have been created. But let's go into the settings and utilities. Let's go to the errors tab. If you do not want this add-on to make an external request, you can make sure that these checkboxes are unchecked. This one and this one. Send error emails to owner, send error information to developer. If you want error email sent to you, you can check this and not check this if you want. But let's make sure they're both checked. If there's an error, you probably want me to know about it so that I can fix it. Let's fill out a form, submit it, and see what happens. First name, Allen. Last name, Wells. I'm requesting time off. I need some vacation. I'm working too hard. Date, start date. That'll be August 19th. And guest email, addons@gmail.com. It's gonna send me an invite. I'm gonna submit this. Your response has been recorded. Okay. I should have a calendar event. Calendar. You can see here in the calendar that a calendar event has been created. It has a PDF attached to it with a guest. I got an email. The email has a PDF attached to it. And I got an invitation to the calendar event. This video illustrates the access that the add-on has to your account. It can send an email. It can set values in your spreadsheet. It can create a PDF file. It can create a calendar event. It can attach a PDF file to your calendar and your email. Those are the capabilities that you are approving when you approve the permission. Thank you for watching.